And are you refreshed?
Yes.
Good. Now what?
My question is, when someone is appreciating me and loving me, I know what that looks like. They're saying, you're great, I want to be with you, I want to spend more time with you, and it gives you that warm and fuzzy feeling inside. And even if I'm saying it to myself, I love myself, I'm so great, and I get that warm and fuzzy feeling inside. What am I, because I know that's looking for love in all the wrong places, so what do I look?
Well, it isn't that it's so wrong, it's that it's not steady.
Right.
So if you get dependent on getting it there, it might be there and it might not, depending on what's going on with them. Where if you're looking for it from your inner being, where it's always there, then you always find it.
So that's my question. If I don't have the words or the tangible, what am I looking for to feel that warm and fuzzy feeling from Source?
Well, here's a good way to identify it. And we started to say this, we started to ask it as a question at the end of what you were saying. Because you get that feeling when someone is holding you as their object of attention. But you also feel that way when you're holding someone else as your object of attention. In other words, when you find a reason to love someone or something, you always have Source energy flowing through you. And so what does that feel like?
It feels warm and fuzzy.
So that might be the easiest way for you to figure out how to tap into that. Most people, and we understand, and you're absolutely right, when someone is in alignment and holding you as their object of attention and appreciating you, then all that Source energy is flowing right through them, right to you. But you don't need someone else to flow it to you, because your Source is always flowing it directly to you too. But a really fast way for you to hook into that is by flowing it towards someone else. Most people are looking out there for someone to shine a positive, good feeling spotlight on them. But if instead you are looking for someone to shine it on, it always works for you. You just can't love and appreciate without syncing up. And you always feel good, don't you? Yeah.
Yes. So when you say to look for love where it really is, that's the easiest way to do it, is to give the love yourself.
Yes, and here's the law-based understanding behind that. The way you set your own tuner or your own receptor is by what you broadcast. So if you're appreciating, then you've set your tuner for that, and you're more likely to be appreciated. If you're criticizing, you've set your tuner for that, so you're more likely to be criticized. It's simple math.
Okay, if I can just get a little bit more specific then. So there is someone in my life that I am eliciting. I know I'm causing a vibration. I'm causing the way that he's interacting with me.
Well, you're rendezvousing at any rate. In other words, don't give yourself credit for what somebody else is doing, but acknowledge the part that you're playing in what's matching up.
So if I just focus on, to get specific, he and I are seeing each other, but he has this fear of commitment. I know that I'm eliciting that from him. So if I just focus on...
Well, do you have a fear of him running away? Then you are.
So if I focus on loving him...
Focus on him being here.
Focus on him being here.
In other words, he's wanting to say to you, hey, I'm right here. What's the problem? But you might not always be here.
Okay. So I'm making this way too complicated then.
The laws of the universe are very simple. You get what you think about. So what happens? Let's talk about relationships in this way. Because a very common thing, and it isn't appropriate to say it's always this way with women and it's always this way with men, because of course that isn't true. But a very common pattern among you are that women want commitment, men want freedom. The more you ask for commitment, the more they feel their freedom impeded. The more they ask for freedom, the more you feel your commitment impeded. In other words, it's sort of like you almost want different things from each other, except that at the basis of who you each are, you want to feel good, you all want to feel free, you want to feel happy. But anytime you let your happiness be dependent on someone else's behavior, you don't feel good because you can't control them, and they don't feel good because you want to. And it's true of everybody. So when you decide that you're going to let law of attraction do the matching of things up, then you just broadcast as you mean to broadcast. And you'll get back what matches what you're broadcasting. Makes sense. Takes a little practice, doesn't it?
Okay.
So let's talk about relationships. So let's say that you really want commitment. And your partner is willing to go along with it because right now that seems like a good idea. But you can tell that he's reluctant to say those forever words. So you're not focused upon what you want. You're focused upon what he seems to want that you're not even sure what it is. So you're not a vibrational match to what you want. And he wants to feel free and he really likes being with you. But he's focused upon what you are demanding from him that he's not ready to give. So he's not focused on who he really... So now you have two people, neither one focused upon what they want, blaming each other for the way they feel. And that is a really common relationship scenario. So what you want to do is focus upon what you want, and the universe will yield that to you. But if you've got all jumbled in your vibration what you don't want, then the universe keeps bringing you people that hold a lot of what you don't want in their vibration. You see what we're getting at? Yeah. We would not assume that just because he won't say the words that you want to hear, that he doesn't feel the same way about this lovely unfolding relationship, because he does. But your sensitivity is the right word. Your need for something that he's not ready to say is putting you in a vibrational place that's pushing him away.
If I visualize him saying it, or I visualize him staying, or...
But see, here's the thing.
Everyone's telling me no.
That's all right. This falls into the category of trying too hard and efforting too much. So we have some questions for you. Do you believe that through life you've come to a lot of clarity about what you want in a relationship? And do you think your vortex holds that? And do you believe us when we say that the universe is arranging all of the cooperative components for that? And can you feel how when you are worried about something, you're not a cooperative component to your own vortex?
Yes.
And so when you're trying to visualize something that isn't coming easily, are you in alignment with your source or not? You see what we're getting at? Trying too hard is always an indication that you don't believe what you're asking for, so you're just trying to make it happen. So you know what the best way to get what you want in any moment when you're worried about something? Give your attention to another topic altogether. If you would focus upon the other aspects of your life, it would take the heat off that, so to speak. Because you've asked for it and it's been given. Now how are you going to let it in? You got to stop worrying about it in order to let it in.
So I had done the 30-day challenge.
What is the 30-day challenge?
Or 30-day process. I kind of decided to just be happy for 30 days.
It's a big price to pay. That's why you called it a challenge. All right. I'll do it if I have to. I'll be happy for 30 days. What possible good could come from that?
But by the end of it, I had withdrawn from a lot of things that I was doing and just focused on things that, like you were saying before, just focused on doing things that made me happy. And by the end of it, I was so happy and in love with life and in love with myself. And then he came back and I went right back to where I was before. So I did distract myself, but somehow I just picked up where I left off.
Well, it's time for another 30-day challenge.
Okay. All right.
It's like Esther will say, Abraham, can't I please just be the one exception in all of the universe? I've been good. I've been talking for you for almost 30 years. Airplane every single week. Hotel rooms. I live out of a suitcase, for God's sake, Abraham. Can't you just twist the rules a little bit for me, please? Just a little bit. So tell us about that awful happiness that you discovered.
Well, I think it's because when I'm alone, I'm in control of my vibration, but then I let other people...
This is really good.
When I introduce other people into the equation,
Yeah.
it triggers something inside of me.
It's the most important thing anyone has ever said. When I get off to myself, I do a better job of hooking up with my own resources. But when I'm with others, I fall into the pattern of trying to get the resources from them. Don't you just love that? Yeah. So get away, hook up to your resources, then dart in, and when that sucking sound starts coming, go screaming into the woods. You're doing really well. Just be easy about it, and don't ask someone else to be the reason for your happiness. Find happiness and then let them emphasize the happiness that you've found. That's the only way it works well. Because if you get dependent upon somebody else, they're going to get distracted. They're going to need to go to the bathroom. They're going to need to go to work sometimes. Just don't ask anyone to hold you as the source of energy flowing. Find your own source, and then others who have found theirs as well. As you join together, oh, it's really fun, isn't it? We are not suggesting for a moment that you haven't picked the right one. And the fact that you're having some negative emotion around it doesn't mean that either. Because this isn't really about him. It's about what you're doing with your own vibration. And not far from now, you're going to really appreciate his stubbornness. Because if he were just giving you everything that you want in every moment, he nearly is. If he were just giving you everything that you want, you'd have no reason to hook up to your own resources. You would just become dependent upon him till he gets hit by a truck. And then, just kidding. And then another, and then another, and then another, and then another. Isn't it a pattern that almost everyone has? It doesn't give you your empowerment. This receptive mode that we're talking about is not just receptive to ideas and receptive to inspiration. It's receiving of replenishment. So it's where your clarity comes from and your vitality, the resources and vibrational nutrients that your physical cells of your body are asking for. There's so much about that receptive mode that is beneficial to you. So this wonderful person is just giving you a reason to hook up with true resources. And then you can dance together in fun. Yeah? Really good.
Thank you.